Hariom students, I hope you understood your first lesson part 1, the best Christmas present in the world. Now I'll recall what happened in part 1. So in part 1, our author went to junk shop to buy a roll top desk. So finally he want to buy one old roll top desk which was belongs to 19th century and it was made of oak. So it was, though it was too cost, but it was a second hand product, so the author want to buy that one. So it was too damaged and it was somehow burned, scratches was there, some of the legs of that roll top desk was damaged. Finally he want to buy that roll top desk. So he decided that after buying that roll top desk and he went to home, he kept that desk in his garage, and he thought that he want to repair, and he can do that, and he want to do that in particular day, that is Christmas Eve. As we know that we give more and more importance when we are going to start a new works, when we are going to start a new business, for sure we will give importance, we'll check days and time and everything. In the same manner, when he want to do some work, to some changes for his roll top desk, he want to do that in Christmas Eve, in the day of Christmas festival. So in that day he checked all the drawers in the roll top desk. Finally one drawer was not able to open the drawer, it was stuck. He was forcing himself to open the drawer. Finally he opened. So in that drawer he found a small tin black box which contains a white paper sticked with cello tape. In that sellotape he saw Jim McPherson some date. So after opening the tin box he observed one envelope cover in that. So he observed one envelope cover in that. He also took a letter from envelope cover. So he unfolded it and finally he felt, is it good to read other person's letter? It's okay, due to curiosity he want to read that letter. So in the part 2 we are going to discuss what is this letter, who wrote this letter, to whom he wrote. In all the things we will discuss in this part 2. So this is a letter written by Jim McPherson to his wife Connie McPherson. So here in this way he started writing, dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonder you about at once. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning, that is Christmas morning. It was crisp and quite all about, as beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, as cold as frosty as Christmas morning should be. So I write to you means he was saying that I was writing this letter in a very happy mood. We were all standing. We in the sense here Jim McPherson is the captain for British Army. So all the army people, all the soldiers in the British Army, they were standing too, means taking up position in our trenches. What is the meaning of trenches? Long deep ditches in the ground where soldiers hide from the enemy. So these are the trenches. Observe here. So they will hide from the enemies. In that way, you see here, in this way they will organize their locations and everything. These are called trenches. So uh, they were all hiding from the enemies. They were all standing and taking their positions. It was really, yesterday it was Christmas morning, means today, means the date was 26, while when the Jim McPherson writing letter on 26th December 1914, where all the issue which was explaining about Jim McPherson happened in December 25th, means it is a Christmas day. So on the Christmas morning, it was really a beautiful morning. It was too cold and it was a pleasant morning. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it. But the truth is, I am ashamed to say, is that Fritz began it. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land, across No Man's Land. Happy Christmas, Tommy! Happy Christmas! See here, what is the meaning of phrase? A name for a German soldier. So German soldiers are called as Fritz, whereas Tommy means a common English name for British soldiers. British soldiers are called Tommies. So immediately when they were all the British people were all they were in trenches, one of the person waving his white flag with a hand by saying Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas. So they were really surprised. When we had got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, Same to you, phrase, same to you. I thought that would be that. Means that was all, that was the end of the matter. We all did. But then suddenly, one of them was up there in his great coat and waving a white flag. So immediately, when one person waving a white flag with his hand, he said, Happy Christmas, Tommy. Happy Christmas. Immediately, somehow they were surprised. Means we didn't expect any wishes from our enemies, isn't it? So here also, the German people say means greeting, giving greetings, saying greetings. Really, they were surprised. Some of them who are there in British army, they were also shouted back by saying, "Same to you, Fritz. Same to you." So I thought Jim. I in the sense here. Who is I here? Who is narrating all the incident? Jim McPherson. So Jim McPherson thought that so they wished first. So they German people wished first, Fritz people wished first. Then Tommy replied, "Okay, it was over. It was finished in that way." But suddenly, one of them was up there in his great coat and waving a white flag. Suddenly, up to now, only a white flag they are able to see. Why? Because they are not able to show their faces directly to the enemies, isn't it? Anytime they may attack, so they don't want to show their face. So just waving his hand with white flag. But suddenly, one of the man with the grey coat was the uniform of German soldiers. They waving a white flag. They came outside of the trenches. Jim Mac was shocked. Don't shoot, lads! Someone shouted. Here, lads means boys or young boy or young boy or a man. Don't shoot boy, don't shoot a man. Someone shouted and no one did. Then there was another phrase upon the parapet and another. Keep your heads down, I told the men. It's a trick, but it wasn't. So immediately whatever Jim McPherson said, one after one, all the German soldiers, all the Fritz were coming from that side. They somehow Jim McPherson feel confused and he was saying keep your heads down to their soldiers because he was captain for the British army. So he was saying that maybe it was a trick. But it was not the trick. See here, observe why the people means why the soldier from the opposite side came into this position. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. So it is the Christmas day, Tommy. We have schnapps. We have sausage. We meet you as. So one of the German soldiers said that it was the Christmas day. Why are you so confused? Why are you so shocking? This is not the time to fight each other. This is the Christmas festival. It's time to celebrate. We are here not to do any harm to you. So see here we have schnapps. Schnapps means it is a different type of drink, German drink made from grain, and sausage means this is a different type of item which they prefer to eat. So these two items are brought by German soldiers. They are phrase. So they are convincing somehow the shocked people who are there in British soldiers by saying this. They were convincing them this is the day that we have to celebrate, no need to fear. By this time there were dozens of them walking towards us, no man's land and not a rifle between them. Little Private Morse was the first stop. Come on boys, what are we waiting for? So no man's land. What is no man's land? Between two borders, some space will be there between two borders. That space was called no man's land. Somehow, any one of the time when the both of the soldiers were mingled in a fighting or in a war with rifles and everything, that is the situation was by our author, means Jim McPherson. But this time I was observing dozens of them walking towards no man's land, but without rifles. Rifle means nothing but the gun which was carried by the soldiers. And then there was no stopping them. I was the officer. I should have stopped them there and then, I suppose, but the truth is that it never ever occurred to me. I should. All along their line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats, meeting in the middle, and I was one of them. I was part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. So here, as the captain for British Army, it is his responsibility to stop them when they were involving with opposite army people. It is his responsibility to stop them, but he was not doing that. Why? Because it is the situation never ever occurred, so that's why he wants some peace between wars. So that's why he never happened, he never want to stop them. See, they were mixing up some grey coats and khaki coats and everything. Grey coats is the uniform of German soldiers, and khaki coats was the uniform of British soldiers. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of the Fritz officer who approached me, hand outstretched. Hans Wolf, he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. I am from Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. Connie, here why he mentioned again Connie? This is the letter he was writing to his wife, Connie Macpherson. So you are saying you can't expect, you can't imagine my feelings when the officer from Fritz, means here Jim Macpherson was British officer, army officer for British people. In the same way, Hans Wolf was officer for German people, captain for German people. So he came to he came to Jim McPherson by saying, Hans Wolf. So he stretched his hand, not formally giving shake hand, but he stretched his hand warmly and holding it. I am from Dusseldorf. I play cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. Means before entering into the war, he used to be one of the orchestra member playing cello. Cello means a musical instrument, like a large violin, a musical instrument like a large violin. For violin, the strings will be different. For this cello, the strings will be different. So he introduced himself. Immediately, our Jim McPherson also introduced himself by saying, Captain Jim McPherson, I replied, and a happy Christmas to you too. I'm a school teacher from Dorset, in the west of England. Ah, Dorset, he smiled. I know this place. I know it very well. So, after introducing the German officer himself, immediately our Macpherson also introduced himself by saying that he was a school teacher before entering into war. So, when he mentioned his place, Dorset, he smiled that he was very well known for that place, very familiar with that place. We shared my rum ration and his excellent sausage. And we talked to Connie, how we talked. He spoke almost perfect English, but it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset, never even been to England. He had learned all new of England from school and from reading books in English. So Connie, we had really very good conversation. We shared our rum ration. Rum ration means it is a different type of drink, and sausage, as we discussed earlier, it is a type of dish. So they both shared all those things, and Hans Wolf was a person who was very talented and was talking very good in a good English, perfect English, but he never went to England. He gained knowledge from through all the books. See, Germans means they will have a different mother tongue, so we can't expect our language that they are fluent in our language, isn't it? But here Hans Wolf were very good, very perfect in English. All the knowledge he earned from his books. His favorite writer was Thomas Hardy. So, who is his favorite writer? Whose favorite writer? Here, Jim McPherson saying all about Hans Wolf. So, Hans Wolf's favorite writer was Thomas Hardy, and his favorite book was Far from the Magic Crown. So, where in this book he come to know detailed mention about Dorset, the place which was there in West England. So out there in no man's land, we talked of Bathsheba, Gabriel Oak, Sergeant Troy, and Dorset. So these are the different types of poets, writers in English. He had a wife and one son born just 6 months ago. As I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey all over no man's land, smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, eating, everything was happening. So they shared everything, they shared some drinks, they shared some snacks and everything. So finally they want to share about some favorite books and favorite writers also. So he mentioned his favorite writers like Bathsheba and Gabriel Yoke and Sergeant Roy. So here they come to know, though the people were different, though the uniform of the soldiers were different, everyone are looking at hurdles, everyone are facing the problems. But now this time they were all enjoying their time by smoking, laughing, talking, drinking and eating. Hans Wolf and I shared what was left of your wonderful Christmas cake. We are also shared your wonderful Christmas cake. Observe here we shared and everything was the finish. First drinks, some snacks, sausages and chaps and everything they were tasting. Now Christmas cake also they shared, but the marzipan. Marzipan means a sweet covering on a cake made from sugar, eggs and almonds. See this? This is a marzipan. This was made with a sweet covering on cake made from sugar, eggs and almonds and everything. So he said that means Hans Wolf preferred among all the snacks like sausages and some drinks and everything. He loved this marzipan was the best he ever tasted. He also agreed. Who agreed? Jim McPherson also agreed. We agreed about everything, and he was my enemy. There never was a Christmas party like it, Connie. So, being our enemy, also, we agreed both, and it was like a never Christmas party. Then someone, I don't know who brought out a football. Some of the soldier from Fritz or some of the soldier from Tommy, I don't know who brought the football, but someone brought the football. Foot's cover were dumped in piles to make goal posts, and the next thing we knew it was Tommy against Fritz. Yes, they bought a football and they come to know that now they are going to play match between two teams. Team 1 is Tommy's team and team 2 is Fritz's team. So out in the middle of no man's land, where they were playing in the middle of no man's land, Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. So immediately they observed that they were going to start a match between these two teams. They both are as a captains of both of the teams. I mean, both of the army soldiers. They used to encourage them. They used to clap their hands. They used to stamp their feet and everything. There was a moment when I noticed our breaths mingling in the air between us. He sighed too and smiled. Jim McPherson, he said after a while, I think this is how we should resolve this war. This is how we should resolve this war. by having a football match. No one dies in a football match, no children are orphaned, no wives become widows. So, Jim McPherson, by having a war together for a long time and losing so many people, making so many children as orphans, making so many wives as widows, we can win the wars by having simply having a football match. In that way, Hans Wolf suggested. Immediately, Jim McPherson replied, I would prefer cricket. What he replied? I would prefer cricket. Then we Tommies could be sure of winning probably. We laughed at that and together we watched the game. Sad to say Connie Fritz won. 2 goals to 1. But as Hansel generously said, our goal was wider than theirs, so it wasn't quite far. So finally the match was won by Fritz. They won the match by saying that by having 2 goals to 1, only 1 goal done by Tommy team and 2 goals done by Fritz team. But Hans Wolf generously said our goal was wider than they means our goal was wider. The time came and all too soon when the game was finished, the snaps, the rum, the sausage, all long since run out. Run out means finished. Everything was finished, and we knew it was all over. Everything was over. The match was over. All the snacks which was brought by them, everything was finished. So I wished Hans well and told him I hoped he would see his family again soon, that the fighting would end and we could all go home. I think that is why what every soldier wants on both sides. Hans Wolf said, take it, Jim McPherson. I shall never forget this moment, nor you. He salted and walked away from me slowly, unwillingly, I felt. He turned to wave just once and then became one of the hundreds of grey coated men drifting back towards their trenches. So finally everything was finished, everything was completed, the match was completed, Christmas Day was going to complete. So they want to leave their places, they want to go to their trenches out there, but every man wish was to go to home and to spend some time with their family. So he was wishing, Jim McPherson also heartfully wishing that Hans also should have to go to home. Just 6 months before he had a son, so he want to spend some time with his family, he want to go to home safe. In that way Jim McPherson thought, and the same manner Hans Wolf also said that take care Jim McPherson, really it was a wonderful memory with you. In that way they spoke to each other. Finally that night back in our dugouts. Dugout means what? A shelter for soldiers made by digging a hole in the ground and covering it. So it was night, it was the end of the day. They went to their shelters, means shelter means dugouts. We heard them singing a carol. Carol means it is a religious folk song and singing it quite beautifully. It was stille nacht. Stille nacht in German means silent night. Our boys gave them a rousing chorus of wild shepherds watched. We exchanged carols for a while and then we all fell silent. We had had our time of peace and goodwill, a time I will treasure as long as I live. So here Jim McPherson was saying at the end of the day when we are all set, all everything was completed, when we reached to our dugouts, finally we heard some soothing songs. That is a carol. Carol means it is a folk song, religious folk song which was singing by the Fritz. So immediately the name of the song was Still Natch means silent night. Immediately the boys means here Tommies, they also started singing chorus for that songs. They were exchanging carols and that night was really very peaceful time and really very good will for them. Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again soon, I am sure of it. Your loving Jim. So finally he ended that letter by saying, "Dearest Connie, this is the one of the best Christmas forever for me. Why? Because next year, for the next Christmas, how the situations will be, we can't say. Again, the war may happen, some of the soldiers may die, so we can't imagine the situation. But it was really a distance and terrible memory, good memory for us. So by this day situation, by observing this day situation, I come to know that it was really how the both of the soldiers, both countries soldiers were longing for peace. I am hoping together again soon. So you are loving Jim. So by saying this, he ended this letter. So in this part 2, we come to know the letter which was written by Jim McPherson to his wife Connie McPherson. All the situation happened in army. All the situation happened in battlefield. He clearly explained on one Christmas morning what is the situation happened, how they involved, and each and everything up to the night what they done, everything, how he met Hans Wolf, the captain of German army, each and everything he mentioned in this letter. This is part 2. Now coming to your questions, who had written the letter to whom and when? Of course, Jim McPherson was written the letter to his wife Connie McPherson. When he wrote the letter, immediately after the Christmas, means December 26, 1914. Why was the letter written? What was the wonderful things that had happened? It was really why he wrote a letter, means immediately it was really a wonderful event. In the Christmas day, they both involved between two armies. Wonderful event between two armies. The two armies are British and German. So what was the wonderful thing that happened? Actually between two armies, what will happen? War will happen. But on the Christmas day, they celebrate Christmas together. This is the wonderful event happened there. So that's why he want to share the event to his wife, so that he wrote a letter to his wife. What jobs did Hans Wolf and Jim McPherson have when they were not soldiers? So Hans Wolf played cello in an orchestra. As we discussed earlier, cello means it is a type of violin, and Jim McPherson was worked as a teacher in a school. Had Hans Wolf ever been to Dorset? Why did he say Newmead? No, Hans Wolf never went to Dorset, but he knew because of he have a very good knowledge of reading books. Majorly, his favorite writer was Thomas Hardy, and from his novels, he come to know Far from the Madding Crown. This was one of his favorite novel. So in this novel, he come to know each and everything about Dorset. So that's why he was able to explain everything about Dorset. Do you think Jim McPherson came back from the war? How do you know this? No, Jim McPherson never came back to home from war. Just how we know means his wife have the habit of preserving all his letters. So if he went to home means no need to write a letter, no need to receive a letter, right? So by preserving all the letters, we come to know that he never returned to home. So this is part 2. I hope you understand, students. If you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me. Thank you. Hari Om.